Hi, this is Kate, and this is your weekly oracle card reading. And today I'm going to be using the Angel Therapy Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. And today I'm just looking for a general message from the cards in regards to this upcoming week and what we can focus on for the next week, and also different ways that we can overcome some of the various challenges that we might be facing over the next few days. Okay, so the first card is God Box, and this card says, write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper that you put into a special container called a God Box as a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. Okay, so this can be a really powerful technique to use, especially if we have something that we're really worried about or something that we're repeatedly thinking of. And interestingly, usually we don't come to solving our problems by thinking about them over and over and over again. We tend to create new problems for ourselves, if anything. So if you find yourself doing this, of thinking about how to solve something over and over, if you find yourself in any kind of repetitive thinking pattern, this can be a really powerful technique. So just getting a scrap of paper and writing down what's bothering you, what's on your mind, or even if you're feeling a bit of anxiety about how something's going to turn out, you can even write down how you want it to turn out. And then put that piece of paper in either a box or a bag or an envelope, and then try to kind of let go. Use that as a symbolic way of putting your problems in a box and just kind of letting go for a few days, and try not to think too hard about them, and think about, like the card says, kind of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. So letting your angels or your guides or whoever kind of help you solve things. And it's amazing how once you kind of put it on paper and let go, things can often kind of work themselves out. So that's one message that we've got so far. And the second card is Ascended Masters, and this card says, powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. And this is one of my favorite cards, and it's just a reminder that that we do have people, or divine people watching over us and helping us, and we can often align with those powerful spiritual teachers at any point in our life if we're needing guidance or inspiration. And I think this card, I get a sense that this card is coming with a particular message, particularly to those people who are watching right now, who are what I would call trailblazers. So people who have maybe taken kind of a different route in life and haven't done the same things that everyone around them has done. So people who've been almost rebellious and really kind of challenged the status quo a bit, and made sort of life choices and decisions that have gone against the grain, and have done some kind of different things with their lives and taken the road less traveled. And the reason I say this is I get this sense this card is really trying to send a message to those people. So if you're feeling in any way, any kind of hardship about this, so you might be feeling a little bit down on yourself, because it can get exhausting if you are always making choices and doing things or not doing things that everyone else around you is doing. And it can be hard sometimes to feel a real sense of acceptance within your social network or your society. It can be hard to feel that sense of acceptance and also a sense of connection with others when we choose to do something very different. And often when we choose to do something different, it can sometimes, it might make us harder for other people to relate to us, and it might also make other people seem difficult for us to relate to. So there's sometimes a little bit of a divide. And ultimately, this is kind of an illusion that we're all separate, and really we aren't, but I can often feel like this. So I guess the message of the card is, if you're feeling that sense of separation and from either society or your family or those around you, this is just a reminder that you can align with any of the Ascended Masters for help and for guidance and comfort, And also just to remind yourself that we are all connected. So even though it might feel like you're going it alone, there are so many others like you who feel the same way, and you really aren't going it alone. There is that sense of wholeness and connection there. At times we just might forget that, and it might not feel that way. So moving on to the last card, we've got cancel, clear, delete. And this card says, use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask the angels to cancel the effects of past negative thinking. So once again, this is just a bit of a reminder to pay attention to your thoughts and the words that you use, and make sure that the words and the thoughts that you're using and having repeatedly are things that you're wanting to create. So if you notice yourself getting into the same old negative thinking patterns or saying kind of negative things over and over again, just reminding yourself that those things do have an effect. So even though you want to allow yourself at times to be negative, you can't be positive 100% of the time. That's pretty unrealistic. And I think just being honest with yourself when you do get into those periods where you're feeling very negative or very down on life or down on yourself, and either do a bit of journaling or, like the previous card, God Box, you can try that technique as well. But I think the key is not to just try to brainwash yourself to be really positive all the time, but to just notice if you are really negative a lot of the time, or if you have a lot of negative thoughts, and take the time to maybe question some of those negative beliefs or negative thoughts, and really kind of shed a bit of light on them. So shine a spotlight on them, and just be aware of them, notice them, and question whether or not they're true, because quite often they aren't. And quite often our negative thinking is not a reflection of reality, but it's kind of the result of years of being trained to think in a really pessimistic, fear-based way of thinking. So to get back to what I was originally going to say, you want to notice if you are using negative words or having negative thoughts, and like the card says, cancel, clear, delete. So you want to stop yourself right there, and if you become aware of what you're doing, that's the first step. And then once you're aware of it, of course, trying to get very clear on what it is that you do want, and not to focus too much on what you aren't wanting, and trying to kind of rewrite a script for yourself that's a little more positive, and that really directs you more to what you're wanting to create in your life rather than what you're unhappy about. Okay, so I'm going to draw one more card from my deck just to wrap things up. Okay, and the card is books. This card says, your life purpose involves writing, reading, editing, or selling spiritually based books. So I don't know if that card has any kind of resonance for anyone. I know it does for me. And it's just a reminder that if this card does resonate with you and you feel a strong, positive feeling when you read the card, to really make the time to spend time writing and reading, and letting that writer side of you come out. Okay, so my name is Kate, and this has been your weekly Oracle card reading, and thank you so much for joining me.